Suspicions were correct.
Boom.
You're clinically dumb. There is no cure for what you have.
Oh my God. I got learning herpes? I got the gift that keep on giving?
Boy.
All right. We got Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish teaming up in Night School. So let's see how good or bad this movie really is. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey everybody, it's me, Kevin Hart. What's good? Thank you for tuning in. No, I'm just good. I'm just playing. What's good, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for Night School. I really do appreciate it. They gave these things to everybody that attended the screening last night. They had some Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish ones. I didn't get a Tiffany Haddish one, but that's okay. But I did get one for Kevin Hart, as you can see. Got some information right on the back too. But anyway, guys, we have a Night School right here. And when the trailer first dropped for this film, I was intrigued. It seemed entertaining. I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. But closer to the release, when more trailers were coming out and TV spots and things like that, I kind of just found myself indifferent and just, not really caring. And it just wasn't seeming funny to me. And I was going into this movie with very low to mediocre expectations. Now, this is directed by Malcolm D. Lee. And if you look at the brother's filmography, pretty much every film that he's ever been a part of, I am a fan of. I mean, he did The Best Man starting out in 1999. I love that. The film is like one of my favorite movies of all time. Undercover Brother, Roll Bounce. He did an episode of Everybody Hates Chris. I got the whole thing pulled up right here. Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins with Monique and Martin Lawrence and all of them. Soul Man, rest in peace, Bernie Mac. I really don't give a crap about Scary Movie 5. Those movies stopped being good after Scary Movie 3, in my opinion. The Best Man Holiday. It was good, but not as good as The Best Man. Barbershop The Next Cut, which I believe is the third one, and that's the best barbershop. And Girls Trip, which he did last year, and now we have Night School. And I'm going to bring up Girls Trip now in this review. This film is also being produced by Will Packard. He pretty much produces a ton of black films. If you don't know what a producer is, they're kind of like the organizer. They come up with the budget, they hire the writers, the directors. They can't fill all those shoes, but they are the organizers. And it's a lot. So like I said, this film right here, I just was going in with low expectations. I am a fan of Kevin Hart for the most part. I haven't not loved every piece of entertainment that he has put on the forefront. And Tiffany Haddish, whether I'm a fan of hers or not, I'm going to tell you a little bit later on in this review. Now, before I saw Girls Trip, I saw like maybe some stand-up comedy from her, like a time or two, and I thought it was pretty funny. But when she was in Girls Trip, guys, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be honest with you, I could not stand her character. I just thought it was completely atrocious, just abysmal, just like, oh man, I pretty much hated it. I just couldn't stand it. I mean, it was just nothing but spoof humor from her character, but it wasn't in a spoof movie. Like, it was just too much. And I like silly things like that, but it just did not flow with the rest of the film, in my opinion. Especially that scene where, they're downtown and there's a drawstring and Jada Pinkett pees on everybody by accident. That was funny to me. But when Tiffany Haddish came flying in there, pissing everywhere like a sprinkler system, I was just like shaking my head or whatever. And I'm saying all this and building up because I have to for the review. I'm going to make my point a little later on. That's why I feel that this is important. But, a lot of people are like, oh, you just embarrassed of that role or whatever because, that's the stereotypical black woman stereotype and you dealing with self-hate issues and things like that. No. I embrace all walks of our culture because that's just, not just the stereotype, all walks of our culture. But in this particular film, it was just too much. And, I just was not a fan of hers, after that movie. So going into this, I was just like, all right, man, my expectations are low. Kevin Hart, he cool, but Tiffany Haddish is, I'm not really feeling her right now. I kind of thought it was going to be more of the same, but, I had to go ahead and see the movie. Now, I did see the Breakfast Club interview. And one thing that piqued my interest about this film is that Kevin Hart said that the film deals with second chances. movies. And I really feel that everybody does, deserve a second chance in life. And that's just kind of, and he was true in that when saying that. The film does deal with that. And, what it's about is Kevin Hart. He has a good job. He has a good fiance, a great fiance. She was fine too. And, I don't want to spoil it for you here, but, something comes up and, he has to find a new job. But, people found out that he dropped out of high school and he doesn't have his GED. So he has to go to night school to get his GED. And Tiffany Haddish is his night school teacher. First thing that I liked about this film is just like the setup of the film, how Kevin Hart got from point A to point B. Because I was just wondering, okay, you're at a barbecue and there's an explosion. How do you end up in this corporate office? How do you end up at night school? That just kind of seems kind of hunky-dory and unrealistic in the real world. But, how would I know? I don't know people that go to night school or anything like that. So I really can't come to any conclusions on how it worked. But that is something that I did like about the film early on. Something that I did not like about the film early on was the intro. That was pretty much the worst part of the film for me. They tried to do a flashback scene to Kevin Hart in high school, and that whole thing just kind of seemed absolutely ridiculous to me. They was trying to use some type of CG animated visual effects to try to show if he had a learning disability or not, and had to, just the makeup and things like that. I just wasn't buying Kevin Hart in high school. He looked like he upper 30, lower 40s man trying to play a high school kid, and it just did not work for me. So the first 5 minutes or so, I just wasn't really feeling it that much. But when it got to present day and we got to see how Kevin Hart was going into night school, it is something that did kind of turn my interest around and kind of get me engaged in the film. Something else that I really do like is how all the characters met, especially between Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. There was a lot of jokes in between them during this point, and of course throughout the whole movie. But one of the things that just made the movie great is the jokes felt fresh and genuine and not forced. It really just felt like two funny people interacting with each other, just kind of bouncing off each other. For the most part, people that are funny, except besides those that are stand-up comedians when they're trying to be funny, people that are funny in real life, they're not trying to be funny. They're just really just being themselves. And then when you have two people like that, the characters that are in this movie that are doing that, it just kind of makes everything seem more relatable and realistic. And it just kind of draws you into the film. And, I'm just kind of eating it all in or whatever. Now, as far as Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart was Kevin Hart. He was pretty much playing himself, but that's not a knock on the film. I accept that. I don't even remember his real name in the film. It could have been Kevin. I honestly don't remember. And I have IMDb pulled up right now, and they really don't have a name there. They have Tiffany Haddish. There's no name. Kevin Hart, they have no name, but there are other characters that they have names here. So I don't know if this was a typo or something like that, but his name wasn't here, but he was pretty much playing himself. As far as Tiffany Haddish is concerned, I'll go ahead and just say this now. I was blown away by her performance. Now, when I say blown away, I'm not saying that this was the best performance of the year and that she deserves an Oscar or something like that. No. But I was very just surprised by her role. She really came across as a real teacher or somebody that taught me at school, or somebody in charge at, my church group or something, coming up or whatever, that has that sense of authority. Somebody that's just not playing no games. Like, no, my name is Tiffany Haddish. This is the first day of school. If you want to succeed, you have to listen to me. If you don't, you want to leave. When, they were introducing her character, I was like, okay, oh snap, I see you, Miss Haddish. Okay, you got it going on. You are believable. I see you in this role. I'm very shocked because I just kind of thought you was just going to kind of have a repeat of Girls Trip. But no, you put your acting chops, at the forefront, and, you just did a great job. So I'm just going to have to just spoil that right now and let you know that, Tiffany Haddish, she did a great job as the teacher. I know that if I had her in real life as a teacher, she would be somebody that I, would give my respect to, just off top, because they just, feel the persona so well. And she did in that movie. And in this movie too. Something else that I really do like about the film are just the rest of the surrounding characters that Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish was with in high school. They all come from different walks of life, and they all had their different level of goofiness without it being too over the top, except for one particular incident, which I will talk about a little bit later. And if you are on the fence about seeing this film, don't look at any more of the trailers, because I mean, I only obsess about trailers when it has to do with like comic book stuff or things like that. I watched the trailer about 20 times, but I did not do that. With what is this movie we're talking about, with Night School. The reason why I say that is there was a couple of characters in this film that popped up for me. I had no idea that they were going to be in the film, and they were actually some of the best parts of the film to me, just, with their roles. One guy in particular, I haven't seen him in a while, but I will give you a hint. He was in a movie with Kevin Hart before. I know that really doesn't narrow it down, but I was very impressed with his role in the film. It was funny. It was kind of like, dude, are you serious? This dude is crazy as hell, but it was so funny. And this film right here is a predominantly a black cast, and so I find that important, because there are I guess different levels of blackness, different levels of consciousness. I mean, you have your people that play the fence and don't have anything to do with anything like that or identify with anything like that. But then there was a character in this film that was like super duper conscious, or how you can say is how you would say woke. And, a lot of people misuse that term, but it was so funny what they did in this film. And I just found myself laughing, and I really didn't find myself just laughing at that particular character. I found myself laughing throughout this movie, from beginning to end, except for the intro. It was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off. The whole audience that I saw this film with was laughing their ass off the whole time. There was even some points and times in the movie to where I was the only person laughing. And I'm like, damn, maybe I'm ruining the movie for everyone else. But I just couldn't help it. I mean, it was just, it was just funny to me. And there are, funny needs to always flow. Always was funny. Like I said before, just a few moments ago, when people are trying to be funny, it's funnier when they're not trying to be funny. And if they're trying to be funny, it's just not as funny. So you had your genuine funny moments you could just tell that the writer is just like, okay, we're going to let you guys kind of ad lib right here. Here's the script, but you can throw in your little flavor as well. But it was so blatantly obvious to me that there were some points to where Will Packer or the director, Malcolm D. Lee, would just saying to himself, okay, right here, guys, this is your time to have fun. We just gonna stretch this joke out as long as possible, and I hope that it works. And it really did work. And something that's fascinating to me is right before the lights went down in this movie, I was like, oh, they didn't give an announcement of how long this movie is. Usually they do, and tell you about the embargo and blah, blah, blah. So I put on my phone, went to IMDb, saw that it was 1 hour and 51 minutes. And I said to myself, damn, that's just, I don't really feel that this movie needs to be that long, maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes or something like that. And the film did not need to be 1 hour and 51 minutes or whatever. They could have trimmed down the fat, but I don't think that the film would have been as good. And the reason why is those extra minutes that they gave you, that they writ into this film, this script, this story. I can tell that those went to these long extended scenes of comedy where the characters are just acting crazy. And it's just funny too. I mean, like, there's just some things that just happen randomly and you're just like, wow, okay, I'm laughing my ass off right here. And so it's so many different aspects and situations, and it's just hilarious. There's so many situations in this movie to where you can put yourself in real life, and it may not have played out for you the way that you wanted, but it did in this movie. Just say, for instance, you ever went to a restaurant or whatever and you found something in your food that was gross. I'll give you that little nugget right here. But when they did that in this film, and I really didn't spoil anything for you, you're going to laugh your butt off. It's very, very funny. Keith David was in this movie as well. He laughed my ass off. He made me laugh pretty much too. He was Kevin Hart's parent in the film, and he was a hard dad. He was a hard parent, but very realistic. And, that just kind of touched me right here, because it kind of reminded me of my dad or whatever. And just some of those, crazy ways they can talk to you out of love, but, they can still kind of talk to you like that. Just because, they just want you to get your ish together. But with the film being entertaining and being funny and things like that, there are a lot of deep messages in this film too, that just really hit home for me, and I think will hit home for a lot of people. And one I already spoke of about second chances. You need to always stay humble in life, because sometimes when you think you have it all figured out, everything can just be snatched from up under you, and you really have to just kind of start over. I've kind of experienced that in my life, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have too. And it's very humbling, and you just kind of have to learn from your mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes, but you just need to learn from them. And that was one of the main morals of this story. Also, just something else that hit home in this movie for me is just, people dealing with insecurities. People are people pleasing and people chasing, living a lie, just putting on the front. You living paycheck to paycheck, but at the same time you splurge and you always out trying to get the tab and do this and do that. Drinks on me, and just a lot of people live like that, and it's they smile in everybody's face on social media, but when they go home and behind closed doors, they're crying in the corner or whatever, and that's just not necessary. I mean, stop chasing people, stop trying to impress people that possibly don't ever really give a damn about you and that you'll never see again. And then I'm not finna sit here and front like I've never done that or experienced that in my life. Yeah, but I learned from my mistakes and I excel. So that's just like a way that the film touched me personally. Also, the film deals with just like not giving up and just trying your best. And you can walk away from this movie just as a comedy, but you can also get a lot more out of this film, other than laughs. And this film really delivered the goods to me, and just the last thing that this film had to deal with was just kind of a real issue, that I have seen in my life, is when it comes to judging people. Because if you meet somebody and they don't have their high school diploma or their GED or something like that, in some cases, those people will get judged. And, that's just not right. You should not judge people, because you have not walked in their shoes. You don't know, you haven't read every chapter in their book to see how they got to this position. I mean, everyone is the product of their environment, and, life can be extremely hard for some people and extremely easy for some people. So you really just shouldn't judge people. I had a friend once that say, "Hey, but you need to stop judging people." I was like, bro, I don't judge people. I really don't, because I don't want anyone judging me. But at the same time, I don't like people when they always like, don't judge me, don't judge me, don't judge me all the time, because at the same time, how you shouldn't judge people, the only person that can judge people is the man upstairs. But at the same time, people do need to take responsibility for their own actions. And that is another plot point in this movie as well that, just really did a great job. But I really felt I had low expectations in this movie. Kevin Hart's performance, it didn't blow me away, but I think he did a great job. But I was really surprised by Tiffany Haddish's performance in this movie. There was a character moment revealed towards the end that I really didn't think was necessary, but whatever. The only thing that I really just didn't like is the intro of the film, and they kind of had like a corny moment for a character growth moment for a character where she had to stand up to her husband. I just kind of found that to be unnecessary. But it was a great movie. I laughed. Had some, pretty serious moments in it, and, some serious life lessons with, a great performance from Tiffany Haddish. If I had to rate Night School out of a 1 out of 10, I would easily give this film an 8.5 out of 10. Yes, an 8.5 out of 10. I highly recommend this film. Support your people, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say this. Support your people, man. Like, real talk. I really enjoyed this film, and I think you will too. But guys, that is just my opinion for Night School. What did you think? Or do you want to see it? Have I turned you on? Have I turned you off? Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you don't, that's fine, but you can still subscribe to my channel. You can also look me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all that good stuff. It's right there at the bottom of your screen, and I made it very easy by providing a link to all that good stuff down in the description box below. And guys, I'm setting a goal for myself right now. I think I'm like at 5,700 subscribers, but I'm gonna try to kick it up a notch, bring y'all more content. Don't want to say how frequent, but I'm gonna try to set a goal. I'm gonna try to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. By 12/31/2018, I want to be at 10,000 subscribers, but I can only do that with the help of you. So if you are not a subscriber of my channel, please help your boy out. Please subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out. Please like my official Facebook page. There's a link below. Please follow me on Instagram. I really would appreciate it. But guys, again, I just want to thank you again for tuning in to my opinion/review for Night School starring Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. You go, girl. I am now a fan of yours. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.